Well, hello everyone. I'm Alex Anaya. I'm a librarian at the Tommy Douglas Library in the Edmonds area of Burnaby. I'm here to present tips for using Zoom. Now, a lot of these tips are going to apply to any other sort of video chat programs that you have. But, you know, everyone knows Zoom, so I thought that would be a snappier title. And of course, the Burnaby Public Library is always looking for ways to assist our community. So the first thing decides to go is this new how-to Zoom service for seniors. We're almost ready to roll it out there, but this is kind of the official public announcement of it. So it's going to be one-on-one and in person. There's going to be 30-minute appointments, likely going to be Monday mornings and afternoons. We're planning on having it at 4 different locations throughout Burnaby based on the community center, so that you can hopefully go to a place that is close to where you live. And we have them listed there: Bonser, Cameron, Confederation, and Edmonds. What we're going to cover, and you know, to start off, we're going to ask people to maybe stick to 1 per 30-minute appointment, but computer, tablet or smartphone, and even call-in telephone. And for the especially with the tablet and smartphones, if you could bring your own device in that case, that is excellent. So if you're interested, you can email me. We are also going to have you can also call in if you prefer, but I need to still let my colleagues know what's happening. So if you could just wait until Monday to call, that would be great. And all we need from you is your first name, your phone number or email, so we can call you back, and your preferred location. So, you know, Bonser, Edmonds, Confederation, or Cameron, of course. And so, you know, you're on here, you're using Zoom already. So if you don't feel the need to learn how to use Zoom, you can, if you could please tell your friends and family, that would be great. We're going to start building a list, and then once everything's ready to roll out, we're just going to call people and schedule things. So I'm going to be providing you with tips for using Zoom. And of course, you know, now with COVID, there's less opportunity to meet people in person. And so using Zoom or some other sort of video chat program is very useful for kind of to reduce that sort of feeling of isolation and just get in touch with people. And even without COVID, learning to use a video chat program like Zoom is useful for, you know, connecting with friends and family who don't live locally, or that, you know, if you're, for any reason, you're not able to leave the house. Very useful skills to have. So I'm just going to try and go through different types of tips. So the first thing we have is technical tips. And so, you know, if you're going to be using Zoom, make sure your device is plugged in or has a high charge, because video calls use a lot of battery. And, you know, once you're done that video call, don't really want, if your phone is like low battery and you have to go out, you don't want it dying on you. So that's why, you know, make sure plugged in or high charge. Another thing to consider is close other programs or websites that are actively using your internet, because they might lower your video quality or cause slowdowns or freezing. Things like Netflix or YouTube, or if you're downloading any sort of programs or pictures even. As well, if there's a delay or you have slow internet, turning off your video can help reduce or get rid of that delay. You know, if you're talking in a large group and you're finding that, you know, they're cutting out, as long as you're not talking, you know, if turning off your video, probably a good thing to do. So continuing with the technical tips, the speed and range of your Wi-Fi, if you have Wi-Fi at home, depends on where you put your router. So let me get my laser pointer here. I guess, there we go. Where is it? So we have different routers there. Oh, and I actually drew on it, but different routers up here. So something to keep in mind is that where you put your router, like if it's next to a wall or the floor or microwaves or wireless phones, that could affect how fast your internet goes, or how far it reaches. As well, if you have Wi-Fi, you might have two types, which actually kind of work better in different locations because they have different speeds and different ranges. So we have the 2.4 and the 5.0. So the 2.4 kind of has further range, but kind of is slower overall. And the 5 has a shorter range, but within that short range, it is faster. Now, when you connect to your Wi-Fi, you might notice that you have two with the same name, but one ends with 5G or 5.0. Oops. So if you are close to your router, then connecting to this 5G or 5.0, probably a good idea. And I'll just use this picture here to kind of illustrate the one on the right. Imagine the green is the range of the 5.0. If you're within that, no problem, it should go relatively quickly. But let's say everything until this kind of red-orange is the range for the 2.4. You know, it has a much wider range. And again, you know, it's probably going to go slower overall. But, you know, if you're in the far reaches of your house, then it's still going to work, whereas the 5 might not. As well, you know, if you want to just test out how fast your internet is going, you know, connect to it, and you can test the speed by going to a website like speedtest.net, or you could always just Google speed test, and there's actually one built in. I think Rogers and Shaw actually also have their own kind of speed test websites as well that you can find by Googling. Oh, hold on here. There we are. So next, hardware tips. Oh, and let me just erase this. There we go. So hardware is, you know, the physical things that you can buy. Well, your computer is hardware, but I'm going to talk about the kind of the accessories that you can get. So first off, when you're like purchasing a microphone, consider that different microphones might be a bit smarter in that they can focus on your voice and ignore the background noises. You'll notice on my headpiece, I have this microphone that's pointed right at my mouth, and it hopefully isn't picking up any traffic that's going on behind me or any noise happening in the library. As well, when you're considering headphones, and I have the picture at the top there, there are kind of 3 different types, and I kind of have some examples here. So we have the in-ear, the earbuds, and there we go. They look like that, and this one has a little microphone attachment here. We have the on-ear, which is actually the ones that I'm using. They don't quite cover my ears. And then we have the big over-ear, and hopefully you can still hear me, but you can see they cover my entire ear. And they also have a handy microphone attached as well. If you're especially concerned about hearing when you're in like a Zoom conversation, I would definitely consider the earbuds or the over-ear, because they kind of form a bubble. And in forming that bubble, there's maybe 2 things to be concerned about. If you're talking, you might become a loud talker. And also you might not be able to hear what's going on around you. So, you know, maybe consider an on-ear if you do want to kind of keep an awareness of people calling your name or something like that. And as well, you might want to consider comfort and how long you're using them. The over-ear ones, you know, if they're on for hours, they might start to hurt your ears if they're enclosed. Another little tip is when you're looking to purchase them, and especially if you want them to focus either on your voice or you don't want to hear anything that's going on outside, noise canceling, that is the term that kind of catches all that stuff. And as well, if you use a phone or tablet, I know personally, when I use my phone to use Zoom, it, you know, I'm just holding it in front of me for the whole conversation for like an hour or more. And that, you know, kind of makes my hand ache after. So you might want to consider buying a stand of some sort if your phone or tablet doesn't have a stand built in. That way, you know, your hands are free. You can do something else while you're chatting, or you know, and you can position it so you're in the frame at all times, kind of like this webcam for me. Okay. So just kind of meeting tips in general. You'll want to test your sound and microphone before the meeting, especially if something's changed, like, you know, you've unplugged something, or you have a new microphone or something, or you haven't used it in a while. Lighting, you want to make sure the brightest light source is in front of you. Otherwise, you're going to look like one of those whistleblowers on like a news expose. And as well, for background, you want to check to see if your background looks okay. You know, in the news at the beginning of COVID, it was a big joke. People were comparing backgrounds. You also want to be aware that, especially on Zoom, you have a virtual background option. So you can choose a different photo. Some of them are built in, or you can choose your own photo. So if you have a nice vacation photo, you can choose that, or anything you find on the internet. Also, you might want to learn how to quickly turn off audio and video in case of loud noises, if you want to eat or drink, or if unexpected interlopers like your dog or cat just kind of jump into frame or make a loud noise. So you can click like the two buttons we have there, the mute and stop video, or you can hold spacebar when you're talking, and that way it you know, it won't listen. What you're saying won't get picked up unless you're holding that space bar. Another thing to remember is that settings are remembered if you're using the same device or account. Things like your picture, your background, or your name. Like for instance, I was helping my mother use Zoom, and I set like my background as a cute picture of like a baby donkey. Then I go into work and I use my phone again. And I joined a work meeting, and my background was still the cute baby donkey. So I probably should have checked that before I had joined the meeting. But it was, you know, I want to save you the embarrassment that I felt in that moment. Now, finally, some social tips. You know, they might be common sense, but I thought it would be a good idea to add them here. So, you know, if possible, try to turn on your video during meetings. You know, of course, people appreciate seeing you, and, you know, the whole point is so that you can communicate and see each other. And as well, you know, if your schedule doesn't change very much, try to come up with a regular date or time to meet up. And, you know, that makes things easier to plan around if you have like a weekly or a monthly meeting, and it gives you something to look forward to. So those are my tips here. Image credits, you know, need to do that. So does anyone have any questions? And while maybe you're thinking of those questions, just, you know, thank you for coming out. Please spread the word about the Zoom program. I will put the slide up in a moment. And as well, I should mention that the slides for this presentation are in the on the table. So if you want, you can download them, and they have all the tips that I wrote and information about the program. And of course, you can contact us at the library if you have any questions or would like more information. Let's see, I see a question. No, not a question. So yeah, you know, again, here's the contact info if you're interested in the How to Zoom program. Yeah. And yeah, oh, I guess I should mention I'll be the one doing the one-on-one sessions for the How to Zoom program. So I don't know if you found this presentation exciting, then, you know, that's something to look forward to. Oh, yes, Carla, yes, I can. Do you mean this one, Carla, or you mean?
It was actually the one at the beginning before the contact information.
Okay, at the very beginning.
Yeah,
This one. Ah, yes, okay.
that's the one. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I should also mention in the couple seconds I have left. So of course, you know, with we'll be following any COVID guidelines set out by the province. You know, your safety and my safety is important, so we're going to make sure that there's that everyone is feeling safe and that we can reduce the chances of anything being spread. No problem, Carla. Well, I think that's my time. Thanks for watching the presentation, and you know, spread the word about the program. And if you're interested in the program, I hope to see you in, I don't know, a couple weeks.
Great. Thank you very much, Alex. As I mentioned in the chat, I work for the Burnaby Association for Community Inclusion, and I signed up for this fair so that I could collect useful information for the individuals that we serve. And we do work with a number of seniors who have disabilities. So, you know, and some of them have really been learning Zoom well, but others still probably could use some of your information and sessions. So I'm going to be passing this along to my coworkers. I'm in the outreach department, so we work on life skills and so on. So learning things on the computer is one of our things. So I really appreciate this. Yeah, that was informative.
No problem. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. I see, you know, when you were talking about having a light on in front of you, there's someone who's,
Yeah.
who looks like one of those whistleblowers. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I guess actually I have the floor until
you got a couple more minutes if anyone
more
has
minutes.
any more questions. Yeah.
That was a bit quicker than I thought it was. So if anyone has any questions, please please ask them, and we can try to get them in the next 3 minutes.
Too funny.
Oh, Connie asks, is Zoom free? I guess, well, Zoom is free, especially if you're not hosting. Or rather, if you're just going to have chats that are one-on-one, actually, you can come up with a register for a free Zoom account. And actually, one-on-one meetings, you can have them for, I think they said 23 hours and 59 minutes. If you want kind of longer unrestricted times, then that's the only time you'd really need to pay. Or if you want, you have to pay if you want people to be able to call in with like the actual telephone. But if you have like a tablet or a computer, you can register for free. I hope that answers the question. And then Daisy, language specific one-on-one support. Do you mean one-on-one support with like just for Zoom, or just kind of in general?
In general, like, do you have other languages like Chinese or Punjabi or other Farsi language?
Like for books, or just kind of service or support?
For Zoom, how to use Zoom, the specific.
We don't have anything at the moment. I'm going to write that down. We do have like another kind of separate one-on-one call-in thing, and it is kind of dependent on staff language ability. I don't think we have anything ready at the moment, but that's definitely something. And you mentioned Farsi. What were the other languages you mentioned?
Mandarin.
Mandarin, okay.
Korean.
Korean, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that one of my colleagues who is part of the Arabic as well. I'll write that down. Part of the like seniors outreach team speaks Korean, so I can maybe coordinate with her in certain cases. Maybe I will contact you, Daisy, at Mosaic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I can find your info relatively easily. Yeah, okay. Yeah, unfortunately with the language support, currently it is a bit restricted to what staff abilities we have, but you know, we might be interested in exploring maybe some community partnerships or something. That was an idea that one of my colleagues kicked around. So yeah, I think that's my time. So
It is. Thanks so much, Alex.